This is the Silent Treatment Pale Ale.
Right.
It's kind of my version of an American style pale ale. Well hopped, but still has a really nice maltiness to it. I think it has a nutty malt character. Is how I describe the nutty malt character, and then the hops are pretty bright and citrusy, grapefruity with the Cascade. We use Cluster 2, which is kind of a spicy, a little bit of a fruity note to it too.
Okay.
It's hopped 4 times in the kettle and dry hopped. And I hope I'll get this right, but I mean, it won a gold at the GABF. You know, it was voted one of the top beers, and well, Seattle PI call it best beer. We went to Sweden with it. With Japan, it got a medal in Japan International Beer Competition. It got a medal at the Sweden International Beer Competition. It is the Columbus hop that is that kind of a pungent, almost dank, kind of earthy hop note that kind of is the prevailing part of it. Then it's kind of supported and kept in check by some other more citrusy varieties. Yeah. So it has some brightness to it, but it also has that really pungent kind of a dank kind of hoppiness. Okay. It's hopped. There's a lot of hops in this beer, and we dry hop it with over 20 pounds of hops in each batch. And that's a lot of hops considering the volume. A good example, for instance, up at the Manitou Tap House, they did blind tastings on their customers of all their IPAs that they had up there. And Born and Raised was the #1 beer. It's the newest one, yep, that we're just putting into bottles. Imperial Stout, oh gosh, it's got a huge grist bill in it. There's 2-row pale malt in it. There's black patent malt in it, chocolate malt, special roast, roasted barley. Missing something there. Munich malt, and 120L crystal as well. So, and that's kind of typical grist for an imperial stout. Right. Even though this beer has some hops in it, you don't really notice it, even though it has like almost 80 IBUs of hops in it.
Really?
But can you discern? I mean, really any hop in it at all? I mean, it doesn't really come off. But, you know, if they weren't in there, you'd notice. So the Jetstar is kind of a West Coast. There is a West Coast IPA that's out there. And it's a little blonder than, you can see the difference in color. Yeah. Most people interpret, oh, an Imperial is going to be darker.
Which is funny, yeah.
Not necessarily.
Yeah.
Because I've done, if you've had my Imperial IPAs from years past, they're essentially big brothers to the regular IPA. This one here is a completely different grist and kind of a different approach toward the beer. It's lower mash temperatures, so we get lower finishing gravities, a little drier finishing. That allows the hops to come through, the flavoring and bitterness hops to shine through. This is really about creating a malt base that allows the hops to really shine.